What if the truths you hold dear crumble in the face of freedom, leaving you questioning the world and your very existence? How do you navigate a life where meaning isn't given but must be created step by step? These are the questions Jean-Paul Sartre grappled with that cut to the core of what it means to be human. Sartre, the father of existentialism, didn't just write philosophy, he lived it. His life and work unravel the tensions between freedom and responsibility, meaning and absurdity, forcing us to confront the truths we'd rather avoid. Born in 1905, Sartre grew up in the shadow of a rigid, traditional society. Yet, he was a man of contradictions, an atheist who spoke of transcendence, a philosopher who engaged in the political upheavals of his time, and a writer who believed in the transformative power of fiction. Sartre didn't shy away from life's chaos, he embraced it, using it as a canvas to explore the one question that underpins everything. Why are we here? For Sartre, the answer begins with a radical idea: existence precedes essence. Unlike objects crafted with a purpose like a chair or a clock, we are born without one. We arrive in the world undefined, and it is up to us to carve meaning from the raw material of existence. But this freedom, Sartre warns, is not the liberation we might imagine. It is a burden, a constant reminder that every choice and every action defines who we are. Sartre's philosophy is best understood through the lives of his characters, particularly Antoine Roquentin, the protagonist of Nausea. A historian, Roquentin begins to see the world differently. Ordinary objects, stones, trees, even his reflection appear alien and absurd. He feels a profound nausea, not just physical but existential, as he confronts the unsettling truth: the world has no inherent meaning. This moment of realization is Sartre's philosophical crucible. Roquentin's nausea symbolizes the weight of freedom, the dizzying awareness that nothing outside us provides purpose. It's a freedom that both terrifies and liberates, forcing him to ask, if the world has no meaning, what then? But Sartre doesn't leave us in despair. He believed this confrontation with absurdity is not a void to be feared but a call to action. Freedom, he argues, is not just about choices, it's about responsibility. To act authentically and to live truthfully, we must take ownership of our freedom, even when it feels overwhelming. Sartre believed that suffering is not an obstacle to life's meaning but an essential part. Pain forces us to confront our limits and reminds us of our freedom to respond. He argued that we see the stark reality of existence stripped bare of illusions of suffering. Here, in the crucible of hardship, we find the potential for growth and self-definition. But Sartre also warned against letting suffering define us. It is not the suffering that gives life meaning, but the choices we make in response to it. To live authentically is to transform pain into purpose, to take even our darkest moments and make something meaningful out of them. Yet Sartre understood why so many resist this responsibility. Freedom is frightening. It's much easier to retreat into pre-written scripts, to assume the comfortable roles of obedient citizen, loving partner, or tireless worker. Sartre argued that these roles are not inherently bad, but they become prisons when we let them define us without question. How often do we choose comfort over authenticity, clinging to the lie that someone else will define our purpose? Sartre believed this avoidance, this bad faith, is the source of much of our suffering. He writes of people who hide behind societal norms, blaming tradition or external forces for their lack of action. In doing so, they deny their agency. Sartre insisted that to live authentically, one must embrace the discomfort of freedom and the risk of stepping into the unknown. Sartre's philosophy extends beyond the individual, reaching into the very fabric of human relationships. He argued that every choice we make sends ripples through the world, affecting others in ways we may never fully understand. This interconnectedness makes our freedom both exhilarating and deeply consequential. We are not isolated beings existing in a vacuum. Our actions resonate within the lives of those around us. Sartre challenges us to consider, how will your freedom shape the world? Will your choices inspire others to live authentically, or will they perpetuate the cycles of bad faith and despair? For Sartre, living authentically means recognizing that freedom is not just personal, it's a profound responsibility to humanity. Sartre believed that our understanding of ourselves is inseparable from how others perceive us. He argued that another person's gaze can feel like a mirror and a cage, reflecting aspects of ourselves we may not wish to see, while limiting how we define ourselves. This tension is vividly explored in No Exit, where Sartre's characters discover that their hell is not flames or torment but each other. Their identities are entangled, shaped by judgment and expectation. Sartre challenges us to ask how much of who we are is influenced by others. And how can we reclaim our freedom while living in a world where every glance and interaction leaves a mark? He suggests genuine authenticity comes from acknowledging this tension and resisting the urge to let external judgment dictate our choices. Sartre also saw time as essential in answering life's great questions. The past is unchangeable, the future uncertain, and the present fleeting. Yet freedom exists most powerfully in the present moment. Sartre argued that every decision, no matter how small, is an opportunity to reaffirm or redefine who we are. Imagine standing at a crossroads, overwhelmed by infinite possibilities. Sartre believed that while we might long for certainty, the act of choosing itself is where we find meaning. He warned against living in the past or anxiously chasing the future. The present is all we have, and it has the power to shape our existence. So, how do we navigate this labyrinth of freedom, responsibility, and connection? Sartre's answer lies in authenticity. To live authentically, we must fully embrace our freedom and act according to our values rather than external pressures or self-deception. This is not an easy path. Sartre faced immense challenges. His activism, writings, and relationships were tense. However, he believed that authenticity is the only way to live genuinely. It means confronting life's absurdity head-on, accepting the weight of our choices, and creating meaning in a world that offers none. Sartre's philosophy doesn't give us easy answers, it gives us tools. So why are we here? To create ourselves, to define our purpose, to live authentically. In Sartre's view, life's meaning is not something we find, we make moment by moment, choice by choice. And so the question is not, what is the meaning of life? It's what meaning will you create? Sartre reminds us that we are the sculptors of our existence, and our greatest masterpiece is the life we choose to live. Are you ready to embrace your freedom,